And we're back. And boy, are we in a bad way. Only 3 stamina left, and I believe we've used all of our rations. Let's see how far we can get. If we're lucky, we can find ourselves a bench, recoup some. Maybe even find some more rations along the way, but I don't think we've found any yet. Let's get straight to it then. With the hard slime worm and slime zombies disposed of, you can look for a way out of this dangerous cavern. But first, you decide to check the creatures for spoils. The slime worm has nothing, as you expect. But as you search the sticky slime-covered bodies of the slime zombies, you discover a few useful items. Firstly, some gold pieces, and secondly, a potion of skill. You clean the excess goop from these things and stow them into your pack. Tracing your fingers across the end of the cave, you find a hidden crack that you hadn't noticed before, which leads to a widening passageway. Squeeze through the passageway. You squeeze through the passageway and finally reach an opening. You step into a splendidly decorated room with a polished marble floor. The secret room seals shut behind you. There are a number of paintings hanging on the wall, and a dwarven woman is staring at them intensely, giggling madly. Her hair is unkempt, and her clothes are ragged. Her eyes are sunken and tired, as though she has not slept for weeks. At her feet are an adornment of strange trinkets, small bones, teeth, gold pieces, bits of half-eaten food, and splintered pieces of wood. Some of these objects have been placed underneath various paintings. Master, look what Tamiel has brought for you today, she murmurs. If I had to live a life in this place, I'm sure I would go mad too. Speak with the dwarf, ignore the dwarf and paintings and leave the room. Stop to look at the paintings. I think I'm gonna speak to her. You ask the dwarf who she is talking to. She tries to stifle fits of giggling, but bursts into pearls of shrieking laughter. Why, Damiel is talking to the master, of course. Her eyes dart around the room and she chuckles to herself. Then she nods. The master always is here. Here, everywhere. You ask who the master is. Suddenly, the giggling stops. The voice coming out of Tamiel's mouth is no longer her own, but that of a deep baritone of a man. You know who the master of this mountain is, adventurer. Suddenly your feet slide across the floor towards one of the paintings, as though being pulled by magnets. You come face to face with one of the paintings, that of Zagor himself. Run out of the room in terror. Find a weapon in your pack to fight the Warlock's power. On the one side, we only have 3 stamina left. Running might be a good idea. But on the other hand, if we are to fall, we will not do so in cowardice. Find a weapon and fight the power. Which item would you try against the gaze of the painting? Hit it with your weapon or throw cheese at it? Maybe we should hit it with our weapon, but I'm gonna throw cheese at it because this is the first time that I've gotten this option. The cheese hits the portrait and bounces off. You hear an evil laugh coming from the walls and realize the warlock is mocking you. Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, and the cheese is there. Oh, awesome! You leave the unnerving room full of paintings and the poor, crazed dwarf. Just up the passageway, there's a small alcove in the rock. Oh, thank goodness. Now, I don't think we have provisions, but I'm going to press that button anyway. And take a provisions from your pack. Your moments of rest combined with the healthy provisions make you feel much better. Maybe I did have it. I could have sworn. We have 1 provisions left. Well, that's amazing. I could have sworn we used them all. Maybe we picked some up and I just didn't realize. Well, I'm going to use it. Or am I thinking about our past life? Either way, if this is going to bug me, so if somebody could leave a note in the comments and let me know, because I cannot remember what happened. I thought I didn't have them. Anyway, before long, you've arrived to another junction, branching off to the east and the west. We could head east or west. West. The passageway ends at a stairwell. At the top, you find yet another wooden door. This time, a small one with a carved bone handle. You listen, but hear nothing coming from inside. You try the handle, and the door opens into a room with a sandy floor. You can hear the sound of fast-flowing water. My training isn't going well so far. My tally must be around 37, and I need to be doing better than that if I am to challenge the trial of the champions. Dude, we almost died several times. In fact, we did die once. I think we're doing pretty well. In one corner of the room is a pile of rubble, mainly stone and dust. But there are also 2 odd-shaped pieces of wood and a length of rope. A door in the north wall leads on. Examine the rope or the wood. I'll study the rope. You pick up the rope. It looks normal. In fact, it looks as if it might be quite useful. You open your pack and put it in it. Suddenly, it comes alive in your fingers, snakes quickly up your arm and attempts to wrap itself around your neck. Well, that stinks. You need to act fast. Lucky. Needed a score of 7, we got a 6. Good. Cut the rope with your weapon. As the rope tightens around you, you squirm and struggle to reach for your weapon. Quickly but carefully, you slice the rope, and it falls to the ground, still twitching as though alive. The enchanted rope finally disposed of. I wasn't expecting to fight a piece of rope in my training. The passage leads you northwards. The rocky floor becomes sandy until eventually you are walking on a coarse sand. You notice the passage is widening, and ahead of you, you can hear a flowing river. You continue until you find yourself in a large cavern through which a river flows. You are on the south bank of an underground river facing across its black depths. There appears to be 4 ways of crossing. To your left, there is a rusted bell with a sign which you cannot read. There's also a small raft in front of you on the bank with a long stick resting beside it, which you could use to punt across the river. A rickety old bridge also crosses the water to your right. It winds itself way into the darkness of the cavern. You have a very strong feeling that you must be further upriver from the section you fell into earlier, from the crumbling bridge. You have no desire to return to the icy depths. That bridge. That bridge looks like my best choice here. Ring the bell, punt the raft across, risk the bridge. Do the bridge. The timbers of the bridge are rotting and decayed from years of neglect. A single plank snaps under your foot. Test our skill. Skillful. Need a 9, we got a 6. Reach the end. Wonder if we need to actually use the potion now. Or can we even? You reach the end of the rickety bridge. To your right is a wooden shack that looks like some kind of boathouse on the shore. Let's investigate. You head towards the wooden building. The only means of entry appears to be a solid-looking wooden door. There is a sign above the door, but you cannot read it. The door is firmly locked, but a small barred window allows you to look inside. You can see a number of skeletons working on building a boat of some sort. Yeah, we probably shouldn't bother them. They move in a series of quick, jerky actions, rather insect-like. Try to break the door down, or go to the riverbank. Let's leave them be. You return to the riverbank. Off in the distance are the imposing structures built into the very walls of the caves. Explore the shack to the west. Yeah, let's go straight to that. You walk across the sandy riverbank leading to the nearby shack. There's a door leading into the shack which seems to be unlocked. Go through the door. You're in a small, foul-smelling room. You notice 2 doors, one to the west and one behind you to the south. The furniture in the room is sparse and has been made mostly from bits of old boats. There appears to be nothing of value in this room. An old man in ragged clothes is slumped asleep on a bench made from half a rowing bow, snoring loudly. And a scary-looking dog, apparently. Next to him is a vicious-looking brown dog with red eyes and black teeth. I feel like that would be the first thing I would notice. Which you have awoken, and that is now eyeing you suspiciously. A deep growl is coming from its throat. It's too bad we don't have that cheese. Bang on the door behind you to wake the old man. Leap across the room with your drawn weapon to cut down the dog. No, I'm not going to do that. Quickly exit the door. Let's wake up the man. The old man's eyes flutter open. He sees you and grabs for a half-oar lying on his bench. You tell him you mean him no harm, but he remains on guard and eyes you cautiously. Although he looks harmless enough, his dog could be dangerous. The man's boots are undone. Rush the dog with your weapon drawn. Like a madman, ask the man questions about the mountain. Tell him his boots are undone. Let's tell him his... Let's ask about the mountain. When you begin talking, he becomes angry and bids you be gone. He'll have nothing to do with adventurers. His dog senses his anger and snarls menacingly. Thank him and exit the south. Stay to try and pacify him. Let's leave him be. We're not really good at making people feel fine. Backing away from the dog, you reach the door and slip out through it. You return to the north bank of the river. Walk to the huge structure to the north. Head to the smaller structure to the northeast. Let's go to the northeast. Wait. Oh, okay. I thought we were going back to the boathouse of skeletons. You follow the faint sandy path leading to an imposing building in the cave wall. While not as large as the buildings to the north, it is nonetheless magnificently grand. It towers above you, and you cannot help but wonder how on Titan the thing was built. At the top of the steps is a heavy stone door that seems very solid. Let's try to open it. Heaving open the door, it grinds against the floor in protest. Entering, you find yourself in an opulently decorated room. You are overwhelmed by the sight of thousands upon thousands of bottles lining the shelves of the room. Fine carved furniture is placed strategically about the chamber. Hey! You? Waiting for you inside is a tall woman wearing a long, dark gown and a spiked crown. Welcome, Aaron Godspeed. I am Rania, the Keeper of Souls. You don't know me, or maybe you do. I can never remember, but rest assured your player does. Do not be alarmed. I am here to help you. My player knows her? What is that supposed to mean? Ask about the domain of the dead, purchase something from the Soul Keeper, sell something to the Soul Keeper, inquire about the Warlock's treasure, bid the Soul Keeper goodbye. Is she a shop? Like she might be a shopkeep here. Let's ask about the domain of the dead. What can you tell me about the domain of the dead? You ask the Soul Keeper. She pauses for a moment, but her face remains expressionless and without emotion. A place cursed by Zagor, created to provide an army of restless souls, each of which will endlessly guard his inner sanctum. I find it to be a useful location to be near, considering my line of work. However, I am not without my own protection. Many so-called heroes have become nothing more than tortured spirits to guard the Warlock's treasure. I would advise you to be prepared. Let's see what the Soul Keeper has to sell. You ask the Soul Keeper if she has anything for sale. She gives you an unsettling smile. Give me some gold, and I will give you some gifts. That's not how gifts work. But let's see. Provisions. We need provisions. Oh, we can only buy one. Okay. How much gold do we have? Does it say it anywhere? Say. Oh, right here. 42 gold. Maybe. Potion of fire, potion of strength, skill and fortune. Let's go with fire. Who knows? Maybe it'll come in handy. Sell something, maybe? No, we may need those. So let's back out of... No, how do we back out of this? Oh, down here. Inquire about the Warlock's treasure. Zagor is rumored to have a hoard of treasure. Do you know anything about it? You ask Orania. She raises an eyebrow quizzically, then answers. Ah, yes, of course. The Warlock guards his treasure well. It is kept under lock and key within a magical treasure chest. He never keeps the 3 keys with him, instead choosing to cast a spell on them. Each key is securely guarded, and changes position with the mountain each time someone enters. The more keys used to open the chest, the greater the reward within. She hands you a large key. I have found one of these keys during my travels. I give it to you. Do with it what you will. Zagor's key found. Let's bid her goodbye. You bid the Soul Keeper goodbye. Her presence makes you somewhat uneasy, and you are eager to leave. Goodbye, Aaron Godspeed, she says. I know we shall meet again, if not during this adventure, then during your next one. Not understanding what she means, you leave the large structure set into the cave walls. Well, now that we are thoroughly unsettled, I think this may be a good time to take a break and move on to this next time. Thanks you guys for joining me.